Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 career mode, and for the final time in this career mode's history, we're taking on the regular season finale. Hope you're all having a great day and a great evening. We are taking on the Daytona regular season finale, and we had a, big shock last episode in the second edition of the Denver Speedway. Joey Logano late race caution benefits on timing of being in the pits and surprisingly holds off some of the fastest cars to win the race and put himself in the playoffs. Now it's going to be interesting because Corey Heim has to make up over 20 points on Tyler Reddick tonight to get into the last playoff spot due to getting booted out from Logano's win. On top of that, Ryan Preece has a similar gap to 31st, so 20-ish points, a little bit more that he's trying to cover off over 31st in the standings of Eric Jones to make sure he advances into the playoffs tonight as well. And if he doesn't, then that puts Corey Heim back into the playoff discussion. Eric Jones actually on pole position, your Daytona 500 winner from over a season ago, of course. Josh Berry joining him on the front row. We're diving straight into the action because I forgot to record the Xfinity finishing results, so I'm going to update that in the next episode. I think that's the second time I've done that this season, but nonetheless, What a ride it's been. We come in with 4 wins on the season. I would love to make it 5. We've, of course, won multiple super speedway races before at both Daytona as well as Talladega. A cat actually just climbed up on me here. I'm at my girlfriend's recording this, and her cat Jack saying hello, and he's about to jump up on my laptop, which would be a terrible idea. Don't do that. He jumped on my laptop. We're back. We're ready to go here now. As you see, the Amazon Prime Thursday night football paint scheme Cachinero whipped up for our car, and we are ready to go racing. We're underway here from the Daytona regular season finale. From the back of the field under the lights, Eric Jones, Josh Berry lead the field to green for Front Row Motorsports and Roush Fenway Keselowski racing. As we head down into turn number 1, Logano with a really slow start off the grid was able to allow me to jump back down to the inside immediately. So I mean, perfect start for us because now we are able to put a couple of cars in between myself and therefore reduce any risk of potentially losing the draft. Stage 1, pretty straightforward here tonight. We only have 11 laps in stage 1, so it's going to be just push hard as we can and try to get to the front, because 11 laps at Daytona, I mean, it's not a lot of time, of course, to make things happen. So we're going to do our best to move around, take different lanes, do whatever we need to do, basically, to, well, get towards the front of the pack here. As you got Brent Cruz, of course, one of those drivers looking to find victory here today if he wants to put himself into a playoff position as we complete this opening lap. Already seeing 3x3 wide action here. Alex Bowman in the number 18 there with Cindric to the inside, the 24 of Byron on his outside, as I'm getting pushed by that 22 of Joey Logano. I mean, big shout out to Joey Logano and just what he's been able to do to put himself and his team for Penske Racing once again into the playoffs. They do it season after season. It's so similar to real life, but in real life they do run a little bit statistically better than Logano does in the game, at least now. But I mean, yeah, shout out to them because he's going to have another shot to win a championship again. Highly doubt it's going to happen, but we cannot deny the fact that Logano, I mean, even excluding the win, he's been running top 10 on a way more consistent basis over the last 4 or 5 weeks. We very well might see that carry on into the playoffs, and dare I say it, is he may be a driver and team that's getting hot at the right time. Wouldn't that be something as we come through to lap 4 of stage number 1 now? And it's all about carrying the momentum and finding the momentum at the right time, of course, to win these championships in this playoff format. And we at least know we are going to be the number 1 seed going into the playoffs, clinching the regular season championship. We got 4 wins, some stage wins. Kyle Larson's not going to be too far behind. We're definitely going to be the top 2 seeds. Now into the top 25, going to the inside of Cindric here, lap 5, following the 81 of Jesse Love. He's picked up a pair of wins, of course, from Phoenix and Atlanta this season. As we close up on him, actually got a pretty big run. We're going to glide up the racetrack. The 81 spins. We have got nowhere to go. We've been collected, and the big one strikes in the early stages of this race. Now damage done to our number 8 Junior Motorsports Amazon Prime car. and the caution flies, and a rare moment where an AI spins out, and I am actually collected in it. It doesn't happen often, but it's happened tonight under the lights here from Daytona. We'll get a second look here momentarily, but it's obvious what happened. The 81 blew a rear tire right in front of me, and unfortunately slides up in front of me. I got nowhere to go, and we're all collected in it. Of course, you see Zillish as well, the 55, I believe the 00, and others all collected, as we would have to pit for repairs, putting us all the way to the back of the grid. So we hadn't gone very far, but now we're right to the back again. So it's going to be 4 laps to go in stage number 1, and obviously not quite the situation that we wanted to find ourselves in, as we of course have fortunately nothing to worry about on that bright side. And I think that's where I'm glad that in real life it sounds like the playoffs are going away and more towards like potentially a 36 race format or something, because it promotes running good in every race, right? You know, and this career mode is a great example. I can win one race, or let's just look at Joey Logano. He's run mediocre all season long, and he won last episode, and all of his mediocrity no longer matters because he has just as good of a chance as everybody else now in the playoffs to win the championship. So personally, yeah, I think a format that rewards running good all season long is the way to go. And another way to get that's not necessarily 36 races. I think the 10 race chase format that we used to have like 15 years ago, I think is the way to do it as well, because it promotes running good for the first 26, and of course building up your points to start the chase, and then you start the chase, well now you got to be near perfect for 10 more races to finish off the championship. So I feel like it's really those two formats that we should consider, or NASCAR should consider going forward if they really do want to move away from the playoffs. Now, as we come through to the final lap of stage number 1, we have only moved up to about 34th, 32nd now, passing the 98 of Chase Briscoe. He's had a strong couple of last few races, of course, hasn't been able to find victory lane, and right now, I mean, it looks like Chris Buescher as well is going to be the only RFK driver in the playoffs, which is an improvement because they had no drivers in the playoffs last season. And of course, it's important to keep in mind how many points is Eric Jones scoring. Well, he's still leading. He's about to score 10 points and close in on Ryan Preece for that top 30 spot to kick him out of the playoffs. And Corey Heim and Tyler Reddick, we need to pay attention to them as well. Eric Jones takes stage number 1. Does Ryan Preece get a top 10? I didn't show it here, but I can confirm he actually finished exactly 10th. So he scored 1 point. Eric Jones just scored 10 as everybody pits for tires and fuel, and we get ready to go green for the start of stage 2. And we're not going to pay a whole lot of attention. We're just going to let things play out and see what happens at the end of this regular season finale as stage 2 is underway here. P29 right here behind the 9 of Chase Elliott. What a weird season it's been for the 9 of Chase Elliott, because he of course had so many ups and downs early on in the season, and then he comes out and he wins a pair of races late in the regular season. But ever since he got that win at Gateway or whatever race he won last, he's kind of faded again. So it's a bit weird. The 9 car, it's a really unpredictable car, and this is obviously not the Chase Elliott that we're used to. And it's interesting because his rating basically hasn't changed through the entirety of the career mode, and then we come into this season and he's just way off of what he's usually doing. So it's weird how that sometimes kind of works out. But Chase Elliott, I mean, he's an example of somebody that could turn it up in the playoffs here, that start next episode and really, you know, go on a run and maybe win 3-4 races. We got to look at a guy like Christopher Bell that was able to do that a few seasons back, en route to his first championship of his Cup Series career with no wins in the regular season, wins 4 playoff races and wins the championship in progress of that. Eric Jones continues to lead the way. I've got help coming here from behind, the 12 of Zane Smith, of course, must win for him, and we were quickly moving forward here, passing the 15 of Gio Ruggiero, diving to the inside of Chase Elliott. Look at this just huge run we have into turn 3. We were up to 210 miles per hour right there as we continue on the inside, seeing some great 3-wide racing. Ryan Blaney still winless on the season, and that number 23 picked up a couple wins last season, hasn't been able to find victory lane this season, but he is at least going to be in the playoffs. His teammate of Ross Chastain and Corey Heim both are unfortunately facing the fate of win and you're in, because if we didn't have Ryan Preece and Joey Logano win their way into the playoffs, both Heim and Chastain would make the playoffs here tonight. So it's really unfortunate that they are going to suffer the consequences of that format, as it would have put the entirety of 23-11 inside the playoffs now. But unfortunately, like I said, not going to happen now. We talk about Toyotas, of course, Joe Gibbs Racing. They are in great shape to make the playoffs with their cars. Of course, Jesse Love's picked up wins. Christopher Bell's picked up a couple of wins. Ty Gibbs has gotten a win. Alex Bowman as well. That entire team has found victory lane. Of course, one of the few teams that have gotten all their cars wins this season. Of course, I think the only other team is us, Junior Motorsports. We've won 4 races. Connor Zilish has won 2. Carson Hocevar has also won 2. Hendrick Motorsports, they've all got wins except for William Byron, of course. Larson's got a few, Elliott a couple, and then, of course, Carruth with the 1 win at Texas earlier in the season. William Byron has not been able to find victory lane, even with his consistency. Now, he's a guy I look at immediately for a playoff run, so pay attention to him as we head down this back straightaway, and we have made our way into the top 10 here with just over 10 laps to go in stage 2. We do have to pit here before the stage comes to a close, be that under green or under caution, so that's something to pay attention to here as we continue on now to the back of that 34 of Eric Jones as he's running in front of Ryan Priest, but Priest is not too far behind as we come through this tri-oval. You can see Priest directly behind me, so he's doing right now what he needs to be doing to ensure he stays in the top 30 in the points and has himself a playoff opportunity going forward into next episode. Now up front, actually, you got the 43, former teammate there of Noah Gregson as we go 3 wide with Christopher Bell through the tri-oval. Kyle Larson's up here. Bubba Wallace will go to the inside of Wallace now. And as we come through to 11 laps to go on the stage, we put ourselves into the top 3 position right to the back there of that number 5, HendrickCars.com Cadillac now as they give him a good shot there. As now here comes Christopher Bell back to my rear bumper now as we continue to follow in line with the number 5 of Kyle Larson, who's trying to put some pressure on that 43 of Noah Gregson. We got about 8 laps of fuel with 10 laps to go, so we cannot make it to the end. Nobody should be able to make it to the end of this stage. I'd be quite shocked if anyone somehow found the fuel to actually pull this off, but nonetheless, down the back straightaway, pushing the 5 again. He's going to get to the inside of the 43 of Gregson, and to the lead goes Kyle Larson as we follow him through 3 and off turn 4. We move up into a runner-up position. I don't want to waste time. If Larson leaves the door open like that, we're going for it because we have, of course, controlled so many of these super speedways, and we like to do so again here tonight. We take the lead now from who's going to be second in the regular season to myself of Kyle Larson. Here comes Christopher Bell pushing us down the back straightaway, and here we are now in control of this race. Pit stops looming here. Another 3 to 4 or 5 laps. We're going to be hitting the pits now, but Kyle Larson's actually coming back at us on the outside. Not a lot of help, so that number 5 is showing something here that he's pretty strong tonight under the lights in Daytona, and he goes right by me into the lead. I also had no help as actually Bell jumped up to the outside, so Larson retakes the lead as we would settle back into the second position. But again, the AI, they're always so silly, and they leave the inside wide open, which never makes any sense, and we can always benefit from it. So back to the lead we go here from Daytona with help from the 29 of Ryan Priest. He is just focused on beating one car tonight, and that's the 34 of Eric Jones, and he's doing exactly what he needs to do. But now we've got 3 wide behind us. Here comes Corey Heim, who needs the points over Tyler Reddick, and as well Bubba Wallace into the conversation. Only stage 2, so not time for these guys to, of course, urgently panic about points, but they know that stage points will be beneficial as we have just 2 laps to fuel. Pit stops about to kick off within the next lap or so as we come to lap 15, and we've got a new leader of that Mobile 1 Camry of Corey Heim as well. Bubba Wallace leading the outside. Heim's actually going to jump up here, and I'm not wasting any time. Again, I'm trying to get up the inside. Actually kind of cut him a break right there into turn 1 as the fuel light comes on and we get ready to make our pit stop. Now we could go one more lap around, and I was considering doing that here as we roll through 3 off of turn 4. Heim's gonna pit, Priest is gonna pit, we're gonna come in and play it safe. I did consider going that extra lap, but I decided, okay, let's just come in now and play it safe and make our pit stop. So we get into the pits there, and actually going to lose a bit of ground right here as we head into our pit box now, and it's going to be 4 tires and feel. Right side's on, left side's on, feel in the car. It's going to be a 15-second stop, and we actually come out in front of all these guys that beat us in, and here comes Chase Elliott, who's actually going to line up with me, of course. We have an alliance with Hendrick, so I expect a 9 to get right to my back bumper and start pushing immediately. Here he comes. That 9's got the draft. He's got my rear bumper lifted off the ground, pushing hard here now as we roll through through 1 and 2, and we are setting ourselves up well to maybe get to the front right off the bat here once we come back around one more time and everybody else is doing their pit stops now, as Noah Gregson's actually stretched it another additional lap, so he leads. He's pitting right now actually as we come around traffic and hope that nobody hits any of these slower cars on the inside like that right there. We've got Trouble Cindric, the 00 of Purdy Bowman involved as well, and Andres Perez, the caution comes out. Faster cars collide with the slower cars coming out of the pits. Gregson and Ruggiero will win the stage. The stage is over, and Noah Gregson wins the stage over Ruggiero and Bubba Wallace. But of course, those top two guys, they have to pit, and unfortunately, that puts us a few spots back for the third and final stage of the final regular season race ever in this NASCAR Heat 5 career mode. We're back underway, and it's going to be a little over 20 laps to go to kick off the third and final stage. And we pay attention to cars around us that are in must-win scenarios to make the playoffs. The 28 of Bubba Wallace, for example. You look at a guy like Parker Retzlaff in the 94, he's in a must-win, but he's not in the top 30 in the standings, so he's not going to be able to make the playoffs anyways as we roll through one with help from behind. You got the 11 Mobile 1 Camry, Corey Heim right there lined up behind us. He knows that he doesn't need to win. He needs to beat Reddick by about 20 points or so, but I mean, I'm really not sure how that's going to work out for him here as Tyler Reddick. I mean, what a story for that Trackhouse team. Of course, they have been so slow all season long. Tyler Reddick has gotten far more out of their cars than what we've seen Chase Purdy, a rookie, and then as well Chandler Smith be able to do. But yeah, Tyler Reddick has just exceeded expectations with Trackhouse. Now, of course, hasn't found victory lane. Is actually I went up to follow the 54. Bubba Wallace did not follow me. I thought he was going to as a draft partner. No, he jumps back down to the inside, hangs me out to the top, and now we've got to rely on Noah Gregson to come up and push us in that Bass Pro Shops Camry for Legacy Motor Club now as we roll through 1 and 2, and now Gibbs is in front of the Andretti duo of Wallace and Sanchez, and as well Ryan Preece up here, 3 of the 4 Andretti cars in the top 5, and how about Taylor Gray as well into the conversation now. Andretti would love to sweep the Daytona races and maybe get 2 of their cars into the playoffs here as Gibbs loses the lead. Bubba Wallace out in front over Nick Sanchez now as Sanchez actually jumps up. He leaves the door open for the 55 Tricon Garage Camry of Taylor Gray to come up into the conversation now as we get to the back of the 54. Now we just kind of have to settle in here until we have an opportunity to maybe jump down or just wherever the lanes are going. Whatever one has momentum is where we're hopefully going to find ourselves. Now just 20 laps to go in this race, and now as well you see the 48 coming through on the inside. That's going to be another spot we're going to fade down. Of course, you never want to be on the outside here at Daytona or Talladega. We got smoke right in front of us now. Caution's gonna fly, and it's actually Taylor Gray in the 55 with the tire down, and NASCAR fortunately throws a caution before that really went bad into turn 3, and the caution is going to put us not quite in the fuel window yet, so we're all gonna stay out here and get ready to go back green from the 7th position. Lining up, fortunately, row 4 on the inside behind that 54, so that worked out pretty well as the green flag is back out. It's going to be 17 laps to go, and I can't go. We've got the glitch where if we hit somebody after the caution, my car doesn't take off, but I didn't hit anybody. I did not hit a single car after the caution. You guys saw it, and the car just didn't go, so I have no clue what in the world sparked the glitch there. It made 0 sense to me, and now we've got 17 laps to go from 22nd back to the front. It's very doable, but obviously a challenge that I was not anticipating having to go through. Usually I have a warning when my AI hits a car under yellow. I know it's going to happen for the restart, but obviously this time I had no warning at all, so that kind of caught me off guard. Fortunately, I had enough time to still get out of the way and continue on. So as we are now to the back of Andres Perez, we just got to focus back in here on working our way forward and getting ourselves back into the conversation to win this race. And I think we can win this race. I think we can cap this season off with the 5th win, or the regular season with the 5th win, and really put ourselves in position to almost, feel like put ourselves in a really comfortable spot to lock ourselves in almost to the Final 4. Of course, I mean, you can very well even be the number 1 seed in the playoffs and go out in the first round if you have enough rough luck. So it's never going to be just cruising into the Final Four as we come through the Tri-Oval, and we're into the top 20 now with 15 laps to go. We're in the field window as well, so anybody can pit now, but obviously everybody, including myself, we're going to stretch this out to the end and go as far as we possibly can before we come into the pits, or if a caution comes out, of course, we'll be coming in at that point as well as we continue on through 3 and 4 and continue to just kind of watch from the background and watch things play out. My biggest concern at this point was a surprise winner. For the integrity of the playoffs, personally, I just do not want to see another repeat of last episode with Logano. Caution is out, and it's another tire down on the 66 of Jeffrey Earnhardt. Caution is out, and now everybody's going to pit because we're in the field window. I was thinking of doing like 2 tires here, and I feel like that's probably going to be what the AI also do. The right sides are fairly worn, but they're not much more worn than the lefts, so I mean, it wouldn't be out of the ordinary to take 4, but I can confirm I would just take 2 tires and we would get ready to go green. Some positions kind of shuffle around a little bit, but for us, we continue in the 13th position behind the 51 of Justin Haley. It's going to be 10 laps to go here from this Daytona regular season finale. This is where the intensity starts to ramp up, because now it's game on for not only me, but for all these guys trying to win their way into the playoffs. But I feel like it's in my duty to really try to keep some of these guys from winning their way into the playoffs. But I mean, it's not only me, other guys as well. If you're Chris Buescher or Tyler Reddick, you don't want to see a new winner. If we get a new winner, Reddick's out of the playoffs, just like Chastain and Heim have faced that fate because of different winners. Now, as we now on the inside lane really don't get going here, but we would start to roll a little bit through 3 and off of turn 4. We got the 48 of Caruth lined up behind us. You got the 31 of Brent Cruz here in his second season right in front of me on my nose. Now as we cross the stripe, now to the inside of Buescher, Kyle Larson was 3 wide on the top and going backwards quick. So Larson's kind of fallen out of the conversation here tonight now as we got Heim trying to work his way forward. He is doing a good job on points. I haven't seen Tyler Reddick at all tonight, so that might be something good coming Heim's way. I really don't know where Reddick is running at this point now, as we've got less than 10 laps to go, and my teammate of Carson Hocevar leads the way now in these closing laps. Sanchez, Cruz, all up here, Gregson as well. Chase Elliott's up there in the conversation. Chase Elliott, of course, his win last season, he won finally after going winless for so long. He finally won the regular season finale in Daytona. Could he get his 3rd win of the season here in the regular season finale tonight, as we are passing the 43, the 26, right to the back of the 31, and Chase Elliott's right there to the back of my teammate of Carson Hocevar. They have a bit of a 2-car breakaway up front, but unfortunately for Elliott, his AI is kind of stupid, and he jumps up to the outside and completely tanks. So now we are back up here into the top 3 and looking for P2. We're going to make it a Junior Motorsports 1-2 if we can pass this 31. Couldn't quite do it there, but down the back straightaway, a good run with the draft. We get alongside Cruz and are also closing in on that number 4 as we go side by side down the back straightaway into turn 3. Hocevar will jump down and allow me to pull in front with the draft of that 43. So Junior Motorsports 1-2. I know Hocevar is my teammate, but I'm not wasting any time. If I can get to the lead, we're going to go for it, because you got to keep in mind now, if a caution comes out, we're pretty well looking at a 2-lap sprint. We would be starting on the outside front row, basically eliminating my chance to win. So we are not wasting any time. If we can take the lead immediately, we're going to do it. And here we go to the left rear of Hocevar. It's close. That 4 has got some good speed. He's got no help, and he's still hanging on pretty well. As here comes Sanchez. Nick Sanchez pushes us to the lead in his must-win scenario to make the playoffs. Now, as we come through the Tri-Oval, we clear the 4 of Hocevar now with 4 laps to go here from this Daytona regular season finale. The intensity picking up. Can we hang on? Is someone going to win their way into the playoffs? Look at the run. Brent Cruz and as well Hocevar half down the back straightaway here. Coming to 3 to go. New leader. It's going to be Brent Cruz. Hocevar 3 wide on the outside. Andres Perez here into the conversation as well for Colleague Racing, as Brent Cruz takes the lead in the closing laps. Does he have what it takes to hang on and control the lanes? Now 3 laps of racing to go for the Richard Childress Force Racing driver now as we head down this front stretch. We, of course, know that team's no stranger to winning these plate races, but he doesn't cover the inside in time. And now we bring this Amazon Prime number 8 back to the lead here from Daytona. Off of turn 2, here comes Sanchez to push us again as well as we now come to 2 to go. Sanchez jumps up to the top. Here comes Gio Ruggiero, a driver who is in the top 30 in points, who has a chance to win his way in here tonight as we exit turn number 2 down this back straightaway, only having to cover off 2 lanes. Preferably it stays that way. We don't want to have to cover off 3. It gets way more difficult now as Sanchez is coming to my right rear. I'm sticking to the inside. I feel more confident entering the corner that this will be the lane of being preferred, and sure enough I am right now as we exit turn 4 clear. They're 3 wide behind. That's perfect for me, or is it? Because they're going to allow themselves to build up a pretty big run through the tri-oval. We cover off Sanchez. White flag in the air in the regular season finale. We jump down. We cover the middle. Every lane coming at us now. Sanchez up top. We're going to choose to stay to the inside again. It worked in turn 3 and 4, and it works again as we continue out in front here from Daytona, out of turn 2. Who's gonna get the run? It's gonna be both the middle and the top. We cover up the top now. Here comes the bottom. We cover it again. The outside and middle coming with another run. This time we have to commit to 1. We choose the bottom. Here comes Perez. Here comes Sanchez looking for playoff berths as we come through 3. Everyone surrounding me is in a must-win scenario as here comes the help from Ruggiero. Who's it gonna be? Off of turn 4 down the front straightaway for the final time. It's 3 wide for the win in Daytona, but we have help from the number 15 to the line. We win it by a quarter of a car length. Unbelievable. And we save the playoffs from another surprise winner in the Daytona regular season finale. Win number 5. It was a risk committing to the inside line so early on that back straightaway and leaving the 2 lanes to go to my outside. They could have very well cleared me, but I believed it would work, and it did. We've made that mistake before where sometimes it works and sometimes it hasn't. This time, fortunately, we were on the side of it working, and a big shout out to the AI of Gio Ruggiero pushing us out front and allowing us to win right at the line. Unbelievable. And fortunately, that keeps another driver from winning their way into the playoffs. Corey Heim ends up 32nd, and Ryan Preece ends up 38th. Let's see what that means for the playoff situation for both drivers. And it's an interesting one, I can tell you that. So Corey Heim does not outpoint Tyler Reddick. He ends up out by 21 points, and if Joey Logano doesn't win that race last episode, Heim is in the playoffs. And if Preece doesn't win, of course, that 500 Chastain's in the playoffs. But Reddick is the last one in. Of course, 4 points drivers without a win. Blaney, Byron, Busher, and Reddick all in. And Ryan Preece, as you can see, held on to the top 30. And look at this. He held on by a single point, 283 to 282 on Eric Jones. 1 position. Well, 2 positions it would have had to have been for the tiebreaker. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And now that leaves us with 1 final playoff run, 16 drivers, 4 rounds. It all kicks off here next episode from Chicagoland. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.